So much of the business is done in that taco truck every corner, flea market mentality, all cash business, forget about the other stuff. So much is done because when you start to register with the regulations and the business and the government and the taxes that they take from you, it's just overwhelming. I'm sure she has to have some kind of licenses to operate, but you're right, you do need that assistance, and I think that the left has. They've done it not only in the Latino community, they've done it in the African-American community, and they've done it in the white community. They try to create an atmosphere. They cannot have an independent thought for yourself. And I'm sure that this girl thought what you're thinking. I have people who disagree with me vehemently that I work with, but I'm going to help them too, just like you're going to help them. And I think that's the difference. You know, Mr. Trump has such generosity that he is willing to help those who are, you know, even not on his side, and he's done it many times.
Well, let me tell you, so being in the financial district for me was a dream come true because I've been in finance for a long time since I was selling cars and doing auto finance, and a lot of people, recognized me there walking. It was so awesome. Hey, you're the taco truck man. People want to take pictures with me. And it was awesome because even though Samantha B, she did a very, she basically made fun of me but you know, I'm glad to be of service in any way I can because my message was there. Even though she tried to knock me down and use all my information for her own, you know, show and comedians and all that. But in the end, I was able to say that, hey, I am Mexican American and I support Donald J. Trump. And I want other Mexican Americans to feel the freedom to step up to the plate and say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired of being tired, and they're giving us the same thing for 50 years. You have all these cities where there's a lot of Hispanics that are liberal, that just they're going down. They're going bankrupt. You have Vallejo is going bankrupt here where I live. Oakland's going bankrupt. You have Stockton going bankrupt. Those are heavy Hispanic cities. So obviously there's something wrong there.
I mean, we've talked about this. There are riots now in Charlotte. There's been riots in Ferguson. There are problems in these cities that have been taken over by Democratic rule, as Marco said, for 50 years. So we've talked about this on the show. And the great thing is this, Marco. One bird does bring spring. The Greeks have a saying, one bird doesn't bring spring. Well, I don't believe it. I believe one bird brings a little spring. And if we can get a bird like Marco to chirp over there, even if they're making fun or whatever, he's got the right attitude, guys. This is the right attitude to have. Because you don't know what's going on. Jesus Christ is using you. You are interacting with people. You are saying some words that are, you know, calming these people. Marco's not out to argue with these people, but he's out to get his point across. And what's happening is people are recognizing him. He always has that Latinos for Trump sign. People are recognizing what's going on. And people are saying, you know what? I like that. I like that he's speaking his opinion. And by him speaking his opinion, he's chipping away and giving others a voice to speak opinion. Believe me, I wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for Donald J. Trump. I wouldn't be out there doing it if it wasn't for Donald J. Trump. And a lot of people are out there now because of Donald J. Trump. A lot of people are out there now because they heard Marco Gutierrez, or they saw a taco truck on every corner. And again, taco truck on every corner is almost...
Hey, Juan Carlos, what's up? Nelson, Wendy.
Conversation with a liberal. You say taco truck on every corner, and I have a lot of liberal clients out here that are voting for Hillary, or so they say. Some of them really are not happy. But they say, Basil, I think I like taco truck on
David, Fierro, Tomas.
Hey, well, you know, my friend, a friend of mine, he's the author of that. So it creates a dialogue, taco truck on every corner. It softens the blow, if you will. As Mr. Trump's dad would say, it takes out the lump.
Well, this Jose Ballard, the Telemundo, he's the head anchor. So Jose and the Jorge Ramos, they're the biggest leaders in the media for Hispanics, okay? So I talked to Jose, and Jose is like, well, what are we going to do with the 11 million undocumented people and blah, blah, blah? They're going to get deported. And I told him, you know what? It's not fair that out of a 10-step reform security and immigration process, all you get out of that is that people are potentially going to be deported. And that's the 10th step. And I told him, and why do you think that is? And I think I got him on this. If you and Jorge Ramos are such a great leaders of the community, why doesn't Jorge Ramos step up to the plate and goes and helps this 11 million people and campaigns for them? He's like, well, he makes a lot of money what he's doing. I'm like, of course, because it's about money. Why is there not one person that steps up to the plate? Because what I told him is that a lot of Hispanics, like especially me, my parents became citizens with the amnesty in 1986. Now, if all those Hispanics would be Republicans right now, I think they would make a better case to Donald Trump and go and negotiate with him and tell him, look, there is some innocent people here that are gonna be hurt, or that are gonna lose a lot. And maybe Donald Trump, if he saw a lot of support, he would probably do something like that. But he doesn't, because nobody wants to unite with the Republicans. So Donald Trump, he doesn't see the need. He seems that we're losing more than we're gaining by doing those amnesties again, because it's just a cycle. It's a vicious cycle where they help millions of people, like 4 million in 1986, and nothing gets fixed. So if you allow all these 11 million people, then another 11 million people are going to come doing it the same way.
Great point, Marco. Great point. Way to go. I mean, you really talked to this guy. These are the two powerhouses. I'm sure that he was taken aback by that. You know, we had on Miriam Witcher's show yesterday a guy who's running for the 53rd District in Congress in San Diego, a guy, Dr. James Veltmeyer. He's also the chief physician down there in San Diego, and a hospital down there. And he came to the United States.
What's up, Javier? Prima. What's up, Prima?
His aunt got a
Anna.
visa, but his
What's up, Jennifer?
mom had to wait
Pat.
10 years to come in the right way, and she waited 10 years. So he was telling us he grew up without a mother, and you know it's what. But his aunt was there, and she eventually came over, and he's a big success now. He basically was homeless in Ecuador. That's where he was. He was homeless, you know. And he was saying that his story is, you know, unremarkable in the United States. A person that comes here and becomes, you know, lives their dream, and he's now the chief medical doctor over there, and the family physicians over there in hospital in San Diego. So, you know, when you see real people with real stories, and Marco really that's a great synopsis of the immigration problem.
Hey, Star.
What are you going to do? You're going to fix it? And finally, we got a guy who's going to fix it. I'm sure that Jose Diaz-Balart really, you know, you're making some good points to these guys.
Well, I'm making a point that if you love the Hispanic community so much, why, if you guys have so much power, why don't you step up and help them? All you do is just create division. All you do is start crap that, you know, the white man is out to get you. I don't see you guys using your power to help these people either. You're just making money out of these problems. You're not being part of the solution. The solution will be to sit down, because he said, he asked me, what do you expect out of the debate? Because they're going to air that the debate night. And I told him, I expect that a lot of Hispanics come, like what we're doing right now, me and Diana, this taco truck owner, we are talking about a problem. And I hope that these two candidates, they really look into the problem and try to fix it. Like Donald Trump, he's reforming, he's fixing things. Hillary Clinton, she just wants the status quo. She just wants to continue the same thing, and that's not going to fix anything. Because even by not helping the 11 million people get legalized, I think Donald Trump is helping them more, because now they're waking up and say, wait a minute, something's happening here. And they're gonna, I have trust in people, I have trust in God, that that evil will lose always, and that the truth and reason will prevail, and that something good will happen out of this, regardless.
Right. Right. I agree with that 100%, and that's the way it is. But it is great to put it to Jose Diaz-Balart and Jorge Ramos. They're going to do their thing. That's why I believe other media sources are popping up, and other people that are getting more credibility. You've got more credibility within the Latino community than these guys, and the veil is being lifted off. Slowly.
Thank you, Rene. Thank you, Star.
It's going to take a little time, but it's really happening. And by you able to get that opinion out there, Taco Truck on every corner breaks the ice that we do need a dialogue. We cannot do the same things we are continuing to do, and we're not going to do that with Mr. Trump. He's definitely given us a voice. There's a lot of Latinos online, a lot of on Facebook that are all with Mr. Trump. They're not going to get the play. They're not going to get the interview. As you hear, they're going to air Marco's interview on the debate night. But, with the will of Jesus, Marco will be on doing the BBC or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all good. We're all to get the opinion out. But it's great that somebody says, look, we've been doing this for 50 years. Are you going to help somebody, or you're just going to create division? It's a great point, Marco.
Well, yeah, because in my bio, I talk a lot about the power figures like George Lopez, Jorge Ramos, Vicente Fox, and they use our heritage to enrich themselves. And they try to tell me that I'm a traitor. I'm not a traitor. I want the best for America. I'm not campaigning for Donald Trump in Mexico. I'm campaigning for Donald Trump in the United States. So I want to look at the problems that we have here locally. I've talked to radio stations in Mexico, and they're like, well, they're telling me I'm a traitor, and I'm like, no, I'm not a traitor, because you know what? I'm the same kid that left home, but I am in America now. If I go back home, I am the same person. But there's problems here that you guys don't understand. And we left. You need to help us. You need to let us grow. It's like we're their kids, but they don't let us grow. They don't let us. Remember we talked about getting out of Egypt?
Yeah.
It's like you get out of Egypt, and you wanna go back to Egypt, or you want Egypt to let you know how to live in the promised land. It doesn't work that way.
That's right. That's right. And I'm from New York, so this is what happens in New York. You cannot have success in the ghetto. Why can't you have success in the ghetto? Oh, guy had success. He bought himself a brand new cell phone and brand new clothes, and he's walking around in the ghetto with brand new clothes and a brand new cell phone. Guess what? He's getting robbed. Because you cannot have success in that environment. You have to get out of that environment. And basically he's talking about, if a parent has a child and they leave the nest and they become more successful than the parent doesn't become jealous of the kid. He says, hey, this is great news. This is great news. The difference is the American value system. The value system of the United States that is broadcast throughout the world by the image the United States projects, and that image comes from the presidency on down. That image, that Christian, Judeo-Christian ethic that welcomes all.
Thank you, Johnny.
That everyone can be an American. But make no mistake about it. Once you become an American, your allegiance is to America first. It is not to Ecuador or to, in my case, Greece or Ireland. Believe me, I'm Irish and Greek, but it's America first. I served in the American military, and I'm going to fight on the American side against any of that. So Marco is talking about, when people come to the United States and become successful and become American, there may be a little bit of jealousy on the other side. And I think the left breeds that jealousy. They breed it on television and in movies, and they try to make you. But believe me, they wouldn't be successful if people weren't going to watch their films. And people do not go, like right now, the NFL is losing more money than they can imagine. The NFL, the ratings, the TV, the sponsors, but they're not going to tell you that on TV. Just like they're not going to tell you that Trump support is surging, okay? So there's a few things they're not going to say. But the left is here to dumb down the Latino community, to dumb down the African American community, to dumb down the white community so that nobody asks a question and nobody can have an independent thought. Well, thank God, a simple phrase like taco truck every corner has liberated a whole nation.
It's amazing, and you talk about the dads not being jealous about the kids, and also there's a therapist that told me one time that kids cannot be happier than their parents because they feel guilty. They cannot be more successful than their parents because they feel guilty, and I fought a lot with that when I became a millionaire and all that. But you know what? I want to tell all my Latinos for Trump and every American and every Hispanic out there to not feel guilty to be more successful than their parents, because if ultimately that's what's going to happen. And I think Mexico, my hometown, first they were telling me to take that I was from that town out of my profile. Okay, because they were so upset. But I think there is some of them that deep in their heart, they are proud of me. Because now I go back to the home through their TV and I have dinner with them in their TV, in their living room, and I'm from that town. And whether they don't agree or they agree with me, and I can't feel guilty for my hometown to feel jealousy or to feel anger. That's their own problem. It's like I told everybody that thinks that Donald Trump's racist or there's a lot of hate in him. And I think I was saying that the hate resides in your heart. And it says that when you speak, there's a lot of readings in the Bible that talk that from the abundance of your heart, your mouth would speak. And a lot of people that keep throwing bad things at me and all that, I tell them that, and that just dissolves everything, because you give what you have. And it's so sad that a lot of these left people, all they have is anger, and they have rage, and they have all this. And I don't fight them back. I say, thank you for your concerns, and thank you for identifying with me, even if it's in a very destructive way. But my goal is to one day have you on my side and see the truth about my message.
Well, you're doing it the right way. You're doing it the right way. This is the way of Jesus Christ. This is a powerful spiritual way where you're able to look like you're acquiescing, but what indeed is happening is, like Mother Teresa said, you're having more of an influence on them than they're going to have on you. It's interesting, the verse that you quoted, out of the abundance of the heart, man speaks. Before that, Jesus says, out of the good treasure of a man's heart, he brings forth that which is good. But out of the evil treasure of a man's heart, he brings forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart, man speaks. He can't help it. So what Marco is saying is, it's sad, kind of. That's all they have. But he is chipping away with it. And one more thing I want to say as far as the Gospels go, because Jesus Christ was surrounded, and they were trying to kill him and throw him off of a high point when he went to this place. He went to his hometown, Nazareth. They tried to kill him in Nazareth because the fame of him spread out, and they said, why don't you? He says, well, you go to the feast, he told his brothers. But they said, oh, look at you now. You're some preacher and this, that, and the other thing. So they tried to kill Jesus in his hometown. That story, that gospel story, and of course, Jesus passed by the way and changed his form and passed through the midst of them. But that story, and there's so many maxims that come from it. You can never go home, all that stuff that they have. You can go home. And when you go home, this is what happens, that there may be some type of jealousy. But in the end, what happened with Jesus' brothers and cousins, they all believed on him. So what happens is, first they reject you, but then they believe on you. And that's really what's happening. Marco goes into these places. He may get rejection, but he's cheerful when he gets the rejection. And that's the key with Jesus Christ. It's the joy that you bring with you, and that makes your message much stronger. I think Mr. Trump is a joyful man, and he's a joyful guy getting out there doing positive things. And that's why I believe his message resonates, and that's why Marco's message resonates. out of the clean fountain, and the bitter waters out of the fountain that's tainted, the dirty fountain. So that's what Marco's doing. This is the best way to do it, and it's the most powerful. It shows a lot of spiritual humility and spiritual maturity. So great job, Marco.
Well, even the Telemundo guy, he was he agreed with me in a lot of things, especially when he said, "Well, you're taking the heat, and I wish Mr. Trump would take the hit too." And I told him, I'm just glad to be of service, and if I'm gonna be the scapegoat for you guys to bring the truth out of this mumbo jumbo, I'm glad. If that's my role here, I'm just glad to be of service, and but I trust that in the end, truth and reason will prevail, and I'm here in New York because look, I didn't know where I was going. I was going to somewhere in downtown. New York, never been there. People in the plane, they recognize me. Some people want to take pictures with me. Some people were just talking. They were being really mean. I mean, and I had to take it. I think God has been preparing me in the last 10 years since I accepted God in my heart for this. And it comes natural. It really, this is who I am. Nothing's rehearsed. I don't have a book here that I'm reading out of to deceive or lie to anybody. I'm being authentic. And that somebody told me one time in the loan business that the truth would always work. Always works. And this is the truth. America is going through some hard times, and it's waking us up to do something. And all the haters out there, all the trolls that are seeing me right now, I wish that they would take a more constructive position where they edify and they don't destroy, because they are anti-Trump people 100%. They're not pro-Hillary, and that is so crazy.
Well, there is no enthusiasm for Mrs. Clinton. It's just the way it is. That there's so many, besides the scandals and the policies. And like Marco said earlier, if you want things to stay the same, I mean, who wants things to stay the same? There's always progress that should happen. So there's no enthusiasm. A lot of people say, I mean, I talked to a Maggie the other day, and a lot of people say that they
Sandro.
or they're going to do one thing, and then on the back door they're going to go for Trump. Even the media
Let me do my thing.
Acknowledging that there's a little silent people that will vote for Trump that haven't said anything. He's going to get more Latino support, more African American support, more atheism support, more everything that you don't think he's going to get. He's going to get, and I don't mean you, Mark, I mean he's a pundit. He's going to get more than anyone ever got, just like in the primaries. But I think more importantly, it's what Marco's talking about. It's a spiritual awakening. It's an awakening of families. It's an awakening to help these 11 million or however many are in the country who are hardworking, good people. It's not to do a one-time amnesty, but it's to do a real fix with immigration, a real fix with health care, a real fix with Veterans Affairs Office, a real fix at the IRS, a real fix at the border, a real fix with the military. This country is in a shambles, and you can tell by the cities and the riots and the unemployment about what's going on here. And
Hi, Sandro.
It's a spiritual renewal of prayer. We have to continue to pray for Marco, continue to pray for Mr. Trump, continue to pray for this country. In the Greek Orthodox liturgy, and the Catholics have this in the Latin liturgy, and I hope they do it in the Mass. They pray for the armed forces before every liturgy. In the liturgy, the armed forces, for the president, for the vice president, for our government officials. That's what's going on every day in every Orthodox church in this country and around the world. They continue to pray for government officials. I think we still need to do that, but we need a change. We need people like James Veltmeyer, the 53rd Congressional District, an immigrant to this country that's now the chief of family.
Thank you, Sandro.
Hospital in San Diego. He's running against Susan Davis. We need to support a guy like that. He's also a guy just like Marco, okay? These guys are also Latinos for Trump. These are success stories that, he should be on Telemundo. They should interview that guy. He's running for Congress. Nobody ever heard of him. And we got the election in 50 days, and the guy's amazing. His story's amazing. I mean, it's just a testament, like the Marco was telling us about the taco truck owner down in the financial district. These are uplifting stories that Telemundo and everybody should be focusing on. And you know what, Marco? If it wasn't for you, I don't think Telemundo would have done a taco truck story. I don't think all the taco truck. I bet you there's a lot of pride with taco truck people now. I mean, you really have lifted up the Latino community with taco truck on every corner. Even though they tell Jesus that doing bad things, Jesus, we know he's doing a good thing.
You know, and I won't stand down because that's what they want me to do. And I've been getting so much heat, even the campaign, even the Donald Trump campaign, because they think it's too much right now, too much distraction. But I don't think so. I think if we use this the proper way, this manifested. See, I didn't make this up. This manifested out of the people. So this is something that was born out of this the situation that we're doing today, and I feel so bad because there is this guy, what's his name, the guy that was a lawyer out of Texas, and he didn't support Donald Trump after the immigration speech.
Are you talking about Ted Cruz?
No, another one. What's his name? I don't know. One of the Hispanic council people that dropped. Okay. And there's another other two. And like you're saying, there is so many Hispanic government officials that are, and I feel so blessed, and I feel grateful and honored, privileged, that I know that they are better prepared than I am to talk to the people. But for some reason, these people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about taco trucks. And unfortunately, I'm the one that's here. But you know, I was doing some meditation, some prayer. You know, somebody told me a while back when I was having a really hard time in rehab, he told me that God doesn't choose the prepared, but rather he prepares the chosen ones.
That's good.
And that really hit me back then because it tells me that, you know, maybe I'm the one that needs to talk to this taco truck people, because I shook her hand, I gave her a hug, like I told you. Oh, and this is what Telemundo is going to do. Telemundo is going to do a sad story. I already know, because when I was eating the tacos, they were filming me. And I was like, oh my God, these guys they're going to get like, look, this is the guy that talks so bad about taco trucks, and now he's eating. And she prepared the taco trucks, Diana. Her name is Diana.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of her.
Yeah, Gianna, we love you, Gianna. For just what you've done, you live the American dream. So you know the piece is going to be skewed because they're filming you eating tacos. That's really funny, man.
They were good, man. Oh, those tacos, they were good. But you know, taco truck in every corner is not good. It's the commerce. When you overregulate, when there is not enough money, you go to this. In Spanish, it's called vendedor ambulante, which is you go to Mexico and you're gonna be attacked by hundreds, dozens of people that want to sell you a necklace. They want to sell you this. They want to sell you that, because there's no jobs, and people have to eat. They have to earn their living, so they resort to making things to sell. And if we keep this economy of Obama that basically has taken the money out of the system and they giving it to their special interest, that's why you have all this flea market. That's why eBay went up. eBay was like one of the best stocks, because people were selling their underwear online. I mean, that we were doing so bad economically that we were selling, our garages were empty because we sold everything. And that's not healthy for the economy. It's not healthy for our households. And it's not healthy for America, because America is not about scarcity. We're the land of abundance. We're not the land of scarcity.
Really great point. explain. We're not the land of scarcity. We are the land of abundance. I tell you, it's just, we have a few more minutes, Marco, if you want to say anything else. But I really like what you just said. That was really good. It explains taco truck on every corner. And I don't believe that taco truck is detrimental at all. I believe it helps the Trump campaign. I believe it helps Americans. I believe it's a bridge for the Latino community, a bridge to independence. I believe that everyone can learn and create a dialogue from taco truck.
Is that true, Mike?
It's only going to get bigger, and because there is a spiritual message here. The spiritual message is perseverance, independence, and St. Augustine says this when commenting about Psalm 45.
Hi there, Maggie.
Psalm 45, it says, prosper thou, ride thou, and your right hand shall teach you terrible things. In meekness, okay? And it says, when Jesus Christ spoke, the truth was acknowledged. And when he was not strongly moved against his enemies, his meekness was praised. So this is Marco. He's not strongly moved when somebody attacks him. He's not strongly moved back. So then his meekness is praised. But when he speaks, the truth is acknowledged. So taco truck every corner is a universal truth. And that's why it speaks. But I believe it's helping the Trump campaign 1,000%. We'd love having you on the program. If there's anything else you want to say before you go, we have about another minute or so. It's just been great having you. I'm going to have Marco on again, of course, but we just wanted to hear what had gone on with New York, and it's just great to hear all those great things.
Well, just one thing. I have somebody online that just told me right now that somebody in Nogales offered his sister for $20 to another guy. So what happens, I come from a third world country, guys. What happens in front of the La Villa, do you know what La Villa is, the Guadalupe Cathedral in Mexico?
No, but that sounds like the road that you get there to.
Well, in Mexico, there was this mercado, this market in front of the cathedral for the biggest cathedral for Catholics in Mexico. And in this market, wow, there was so many things. Well, it got so bad that there was prostitution going on in that market.
Wow.
So they closed it down. Because that's what happens. When you don't regulate commerce, bad things happen. And maybe that's very extreme for me, what I'm saying, but we need to bring structure to the economy and the commerce. And I think Donald Trump is the man, and not just Donald Trump, but the ideals of the Republican Party. Because the Democrats, they have taken the money out of our wallets, and bad things are going to start to happen if we don't turn this ship around.
Right. I completely agree with you. It's so great to have you on the program. I tell you, without Donald Trump giving Americans a voice, we wouldn't be speaking about any of this. And without Marco continuing to speak, Marco's doing a great job for the United States, for us, and I'm inspired by it. We're all praying for you, Marco. Keep up the great work. We're going to look for you on that Telemundo interview on the night of the debate. It airs Monday night, but we really look forward to seeing the commentary on the BBC of commentarying on the debate. And hashtag taco truck every corner. Marco Gutierrez. He's at Marco Gutierrez on Twitter, and you can find him on Facebook. Really appreciate you calling in, Marco.
Okay, thank you so much, Basil. Have a great day. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys. So what's up? Sandro, you don't pray? Sandro, are you a atheist or an agnostic? There's power in prayer, guys. I am Catholic, and I respect the God of your understanding. You know, if you don't believe in God, it's fine with me, because I believe in a power greater than myself. And I believe that without a power greater than myself, I would not be here with you guys talking today. So, in your mind, well, Sandro, I think that, most atheist people that I've known, they are more spiritual than most religious people. Oh, but you agree with me on the power of prayer. Yeah, I mean, there is... but thank you guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm going to just... I'm going to think a little bit about what I'm going to go say in New York. Blacks, yeah. You know, I was in North Carolina, and it's sad about the discrimination and all that. But you know what? It starts with me. Most of the problem starts with me. There's people that have discriminated against me because I am Hispanic and I'm brown. But there's people that love me because I am Hispanic and I'm brown. So just because some people, white people have discriminated me, I'm not going to take it on every white person. My mother-in-law, she's white. She's the nicest person I have ever met in my life. So it starts with me. I decide not to think with the color of my skin. Javier. So it's a problem on both sides of the aisle, and the one who's being discriminated needs to also get some confidence in themselves. They need to accept themselves for who they are. And once you accept yourself for who you are, you can pretty much, you could just care less what people think about you. Because, I mean, not to talk about religion, because we keep just going back to religion, but in Spanish, I remember this, some people were asking Jesus Christ who he was. And they say, and then Jesus said back to them, well, who do you think I am? And they told him, well, some people say you're the son of this, some people say you're the son of that. He said, but who do you think I am? And then the guy said, well, you're the son of God. He says, well, you said it yourself. So it doesn't matter what I tell you. If I tell you I am this, I am that, because you already know who I am. You're not gonna believe who I am anyway. You already made your mind of who I am. Because you already made your mind of who I am. It doesn't matter what I tell you. That's why Jesus said that. Well, you said it. I know who I am. And if you don't know who I am, it's your problem. It's not my problem. Because even if I tell you who I am, you already made your mind who I am. And it just know that it doesn't matter here. So a lot of black people, that's how they should take care of this. You know, some black leaders need to go and educate black people and to accept and love themselves for who they are. And once that happens, once that starts, everybody has pretty much... Remember, people will treat you the way you treat yourself. And that's how I will end up today. I love you guys. Have an awesome Friday. Thank you.